All right, there we go.
All right. Welcome everyone to Divinely Aligned. I'm
Yes.
your moderator for this evening, IyaMina Noli. Tonight we are diving into the behind the scenes magic and mystery of delightfully aligned Tobi Ewing's latest commissioned piece. So I'm so excited to get into the details of it all, and just, learn about how you got here, what was the inspiration, and all of those things. So, without further ado, I would love to get into that.
Let's do it. Really
So,
quick, I do want to do a little dedication moment. One,
okay.
I want to give gratitude. Um, One to God, to my head, to my mind, and my heart,
Yes.
to my ancestors, obviously, to my angels who have been working overtime, particularly this month, but always. Um, and of course, all of you who decided to join. This was my original idea for this was just to be like a conversation. Like it's gonna be me and Malaya sitting here chatting. I would record it and maybe share it. And I was like, it would be kind of cute to have a little like live audience moment, you know what I'm saying? And I put it out and to see if anybody would be interested and really moving with intention on whoever is meant to be here will be here and whoever is interested in joining will arrive. And I appreciate all of you that are taking your time out of your day. If you donated, thank you so much. And thank you for being here. Um, I also want to dedicate this conversation and this artist talk to my cousin. I recently had a cousin that transitioned last week. And so I want to lift up his name, Kevin Smith, who is resting in peace and in much relief physically, mentally, and spiritually. And I'm so excited to have him as an ancestor to see how he moves in the spirit realm because he was such
Mm,
a really cool guy, like physically. So I'm excited to see his elevated self and how he shows up. And I already kind of feel him moving throughout some things. And so
mm.
I just wanted to name that and name just the kind of the space that I'm showing up in. Um, and yeah, I just needed to say that.
Indeed. Thank you so much for grounding us in this moment, bringing us here and now, making sure that we are present. And as we would say in the Yoruba spiritual tradition, Iba Ache, so sending
Yeah,
blessings to your cousin on his journey towards the ancestors. And thank you for bringing him into this space, which
yeah.
I think is so fitting for this piece and, what you were commissioned to create this piece for. So, yeah, so before we get into this piece, I know when you were telling me about the artist talk, you were talking about the journey that you've been on to get to this point, to step back out and start talking about your artwork in particular. So,
Yeah.
I would love for you to share with us more about that. Like what has been your journey getting to this point?
Yes, I jokingly had wrote that this piece is 3 years of character development in one piece. Um, and I've started to kind of share in the last couple of months, like a little very kind of surface recap of 2023 till now.
Mm-hmm.
And just to fill folks in who maybe haven't seen that, uh, 2023, I'm naming that specific year because that was like not my last artist show, but it was one of my biggest artist shows that I really, really cherished and was like a big like milestone for me. Um, so I had a solo show at the Weston Art Gallery, which is in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it was a commission show. I was paid to do that show. I had full creative direction, not only on the pieces that I created, but also on the entire gallery space that I had. Um, And it was just a lot. It was a lot of things that I've always dreamed of what it, not necessarily what it meant to be an artist, but what I wanted in my journey as an artist, how I wanted to be, um, how I wanted to be seen as an artist, how I wanted to be resourced as an artist,
Mm,
and how I wanted to be cared for as an artist. I, till this day, really, have a lot of gratitude towards the team there. They took really great care of me. They really opened me to I don't even think they were necessarily trying to or intent like doing it in that intention, but they definitely opened me up to a new portal of creation and exhibiting, but also just like what to uh what to request,
mm,
what to receive, what to ask for. There was a lot of things in that process that they offered that I didn't even know I could ask for. Or maybe it was something in my head, but I didn't think I was at the point where that could be offered to me.
mm,
And so I learned a lot as an artist, um, as a creative, but also as someone who um, wants to make a living out of this and is making a living out of this and plans to continue to make a living out of this. And so that was just an amazing experience, like everything from beginning to end, even how I got into that opportunity um, was so serendipitous. It was divinely aligned. I was actually interning for another artist in Dayton, and she was preparing for a show at that gallery. And I'm just an intern, just doing my little intern work. They were coming in to check out the work and seeing where she at and her status and progress, and just they were getting prepared for the show.
mm,
One of the she introduced us or something, but basically the attention ended up being turned to me and the other intern, and uh they shared like, yeah, Toby's a great artist and da 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 da. Like I didn't introduce myself in that way. But as they were like sharing, I was like, well, yes, that is true.
mhm,
I do also make art. And in the conversation of me sharing about the kind of art that I make, he shared that I was speaking about the Black African and Indigenous presence in my work and inspiration
mhm,
in my work.
mm,
The worlds combining of spirituality and artistry, and that was a part of the kind of the larger theme that they were preparing for an upcoming show. And they were like, "Oh, we would love to put you in contact with one of our coordinators," and da da da. I'm like, "Okay, cool." They didn't say for the show though. It was just like networking. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Like, yeah, I would love to talk. Yeah, that's so cool. Blah blah blah. I'm over here needle punching, and and they actually emailed me, and we got into a conversation, and they were like, "Yeah, we actually want you to do the show this year coming up."
mm,
So this was maybe like March, April. The show exhibition opening was for September. So I was like, oh, like now. So girl, I was just working and working and working away.
yes.
And that is what created the collection of The World Is Not My Home, which is read The World Is Not with parentheses over the not my home. So you can read it The World Is My Home or The World Is Not My Home. And I used that show to have larger conversations about what home means, what home is,
Mm,
what is our spiritual homes, what is our physical homes, how do we tend to that, um, how do we reinvent that, reimagine that, how do we set boundaries about that? Um, Home has always been like a very um, important, heavy, and consistent theme for me because I think it just has wavered over time about what that means. I obviously have my hometown, but I also created so many other homes outside of um, what I was birthed into as well.
mm,
I've birthed some worlds and some homes for myself that I'm really proud of. And so, anyways, that's how that show happened. So, you know, the show was happening, all the things are going. The opening happens. It's all great. I am in love with every single piece. I'm like so proud of the work that I created and put out. It was definitely like milestone work for myself. Um, and like I said, just everything that was compounded into that experience. In the middle of that experience, I get an email. It was just, long story short, I get an email from the place that I had my art studio at, basically saying that I needed to be out that weekend.
Mm,
So say if it was like a Tuesday, I got the email, they were like, you need to be out by Friday. I had to negotiate to get to Sunday.
mm,
And so in a few days, I had to pack up my studio. I had to find storage, and I had to, I was about to say process not having a studio, but honestly, it's taken the 3 years to really process that.
yeah.
Um, I just had to act. Um, Again, another divinely aligned moment within
Mm,
that was the day that I moved out of my studio was my grandfather's heavenly birthday, my Papa Lido. And so I remember on that day recognizing it's his birthday, and I was like, I'm good. Like he's like, if you know him, he's a very like by the books person. He, checks and balances, decent and all the things. And so I was like, I'm gonna be good. He's gonna take care of me. We're gonna figure it out. Blah 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 blah. Found this art studio. I think someone's mic is on. But yeah, so that was like in the midst of this show. And so that along with processing that, me not having the studio, wanting to continue to create more work as I just presented, but not
mm,
having the space to do and continue the practice that I had on top of just I was living in Dayton, so it was also a process of transitioning to Dayton, being a creative there, and all of just these kind of personal things. It required a lot more time and attention um, for me to just sit still and to process um, and to reflect and really just to like rest.
mm,
Um, and I'll
yes.
share this part lastly and kind of toss it back to you, but I remember sharing with you like um, it got to a point where I was just really called to just do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was really hard for me to adjust to. Like it was legit do nothing. I was so used to like since high school, but really and also since college, like I'm always facilitating something, I'm hosting something, I'm making something, I'm sharing something, I'm content creating something, I'm designing something, I'm doing something
Mm-hmm.
on behalf of another person or another brand or another business or another org. I'm building my business, I'm building my art practice, like doing the things. And it didn't necessarily be like draining or exhausting because it was things that I love to do. But however, if there is not that divine alignment, things
Mm,
can become exhausting and draining.
that's right.
And so there were a couple collaborations and connections of work that I had done that I was just like, this ain't like we not on the same page. We're not seeing the same vision. Our approaches are different. And it did drain me and my process and my what I kind of bring into a thing.
Mm,
Um, and so I think also coming back home wanting to just like help and I want to bring back what I've learned over this time and what I've learned from other lands and bring it back to my my birthplace and pour um which is a gift and I love to do and will continue to do. However, it did kind of speak of like you're not here to save uh
mm,
any body, anything, um, and so
mm,
I took a breath and I think it was the 2024. Yeah, it was 2024. That following year after the show of what the challenge was, what would your life look like or what would could you give yourself the space to not do anything, like not to plan anything? And that was, like I said, hard to adjust to. The permission I did get was that I could plan stuff for family. So I did a lot of hosting and dinners and
Mhm.
breakfast, brunch things with my family that year. But I didn't like put anything on necessarily for the like larger community. Um, and I lived. I lived to tell the story. I had a year of not overgiving and overcompensating and overpouring, and I lived.
Mm,
And I found other ways to express. I found other ways to just navigate. And I'm happy to have that knowledge in my toolkit, now
mhm,
of what it looks like to balance my pour, um, but also my receival. Like the receival is what I needed to get better with.
mm,
Um, and I can definitely admit I wasn't always good with receiving or even requiring receiving, um, and that type of reciprocation. So the visual I had was I had to get off the horse. And at first I got off the horse and I hopped off the horse and I just looked and I said, okay, all right, ancestors, okay, God, I'm off the horse. You told me to get off the horse. I'm off the horse.
mhm.
I should be able to get on in the next 10 minutes, right? I should be able to get back in the swing of things and things are going to start rolling in again, right? Like time passes, still off the horse. And I remember, again, this is all kind of projected and visual. I looked over my shoulder and I was like, oh, there's a whole like lake behind me. And I
Mm.
didn't realize there's like this flower field and lavender garden. Like, I do got some snacks in my bag. I guess I'll go like sit down and like eat this sandwich I made, like whatever. Like
Yeah.
since I can't get on the horse, like I had a lot of irritation about it. Like since I can't get on the horse, I guess I'll go sit in this field, like whatever, I guess. Like cool. I do like lavender and water, so period, whatever. So then I sit in the garden, I'm sitting and eating and I'm taking my time. And fast forward, I get comfortable and I start to really find the benefits of this garden.
Mm,
And uh, at certain times I'll look over behind my shoulder and see if the horse is still there. The horse is still there. The horse has its water, its carrots, it looks beautiful, it's well rested, it's sitting under a tree, and I
mm,
could release my anxiety about missing something, missing an opportunity, missing, anything. Everything that I needed was at my fingertips, and there was no requirement to even have to act on anything at this moment. The only act was what I was doing, which was resting. And through that rest, I got to transmute a lot of things. I got to keep a lot of promises to myself. I got to big up myself. I got to bless my head a lot. I just got to just really just be able to show up as the person you see today. So I'm very thankful for that. Um, yeah, so I'm slowly walking back to the horse. That's where we're at now, walking back to the horse. I haven't fully packed up in the field, but I'm learning that I always have that space in the garden that I can always return to.
mm,
Um, and I get to have both. I don't have to just overwork myself,
mhm.
or overwork my work,
Yes.
you know. So
Wow. Thank you for sharing that journey. That is so, I resonate so deeply with that. And I
yeah.
spoke about, how I'm resonating with that because I'm in a season that
Hmm.
you're coming out of. I just hopped off the horse, so
Yes.
I'm resting and, just living and enjoying
Yeah.
life without having to produce. And also, it gives you the opportunity to one, I just think it aligns with your integrity as an artist to give
Yeah.
yourself permission to break. It's like
Yeah.
my art isn't for consumption in that way. You know,
Yeah.
like process the last thing that I gave you because that was a big thing.
That was a big thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like really digest what I just gave.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let me go.
Honestly.
Go through my life
Yeah.
and get to that next piece without
Hmm.
having to feel like you're on a production timeline. So I
Yes.
I love that. And I really feel like that is a part of the North Star that as Black women, Black femmes, we're really being guided towards, you know.
Hmm.
So you saying that this piece is years of work that you've done, I really feel that. And I see
Hmm.
that was a part of what drew me, instantly to this piece.
Yeah.
So with that, um, you mentioned you talked a lot about home and finding home and just um, the movement towards home, whether that was like a physical movement or an internal movement. And
Hmm.
it's bringing me back to that intention of the North Star,
Yeah.
of that being a guide and
Hmm.
anchor to find home for us. Um,
Hmm.
And so I really would love for you to journey us into this latest piece that you were commissioned to create. Now, it's delightfully aligned. The piece is called.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
so walk us through delightfully aligned. What was the inspiration behind that? How did we get to that creation?
Yes, happy to share. I also want to throw out what's on my mind before I forget. We will have time for Q&A at the end for those who are here. And even if you have to leave, I can still answer the question. So as we are sharing, please drop some questions in the chat. I would love to be able to hear from you all, hear what you're thinking or having thoughts around. So Delightfully Aligned is my latest artwork. It is a mixed media, soft sculpture, I'm calling it. Fun fact, I kind of look at my paintings as sculptures just because I really cover all sides and surfaces of the canvas, except the obviously the back frame of the thing, but all the sides I work with. So I see them as sculptures. I call them maps, and we can get into ideas around maps. But yeah, this is a soft sculpture. This is um, a mix of needle punching, hand sewing, and hand beading. Um, yeah, this is about 30 plus hours of work. I honestly lost count after 30, so I feel like it's a lot more, but upwards of 30 hours of work between conception, the needle punching process, the beading process, the stretching of the canvas, all of that. Um, so the symbols are so important to me. Symbols and colors are so important to me.
Mm,
Um, I say that my two mediums that I work with are color and feeling. Um, and so I love working with color and feeling. I use symbols to kind of sometimes emote that. Um, maybe about a year ago, year and a half-ish ago, I came across quilt codes for the first time. It
mm,
was a post that I saw on Instagram. I wish I could remember the full Instagram name because she really curates an awesome page. I think it's called Hoodoo Historian, something like that.
mm,
I'll try to put that into some information I share later so that you guys can have it. But it was an interview that took place at a Baptist church, and they were touring the church, and the pastor, whoever that was a part of the church that was leading the tour, was sharing about the quilt codes that were carved into the building.
mm,
And they went to explain what quilt codes were. And very beautiful and eloquent explanation, but basically these were symbols and signs that were carved into buildings, that were carved into trees, that were shaped by nature for our enslaved ancestors to recognize and notice, to be given some sort of direction. Um, they had many different meanings. Some could say, here's food. Some were signs of safety. Some were signs of danger. Some were directions of how much further you had to go to reach X, Y, and Z. And so I thought this was so interesting and so important about how we communicate it. Um, During the Underground Railroad, but also during these underground worlds and higher ground worlds that we had outside of the material reality that our ancestors were experiencing. Um, and I just am always just so um, deeply in deep admiration about how our ancestors created and loved and connected through such a grossly tragic time. Um, and I think just the ways that our ancestors called back on our African and indigenous heritage to use what we already know. We knew symbols, we knew nature, we knew color, we knew how to speak without talking. That is not anything new for us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, while colonization prioritized English and words and certain other mannerisms that were deemed as human because we weren't deemed as human. Um, there is this hierarchy of communication, and I really lean into our heritage of communication because art is communication. The work I do with the design is communication. Um, and just how we move about life, how we what we receive, what we accept, what we don't accept, that's also communication without even having to say anything. And so I lean on that as um not only creative inspiration, but also just wisdom about how to navigate and live and understand. And so uh I looked them up, the codes. I love the geometric shapes, and I said, one day I'm gonna do something with that. Fast forward, this commission comes around, and this piece is commissioned by the Kennedy Heights Art Center, which is in Cincinnati, Ohio, for their Voices of Freedom art exhibition that is now taking place, um, excuse me, at the end of July through April. And so I was asked to be a part of it and given the theme. And I was like, this is the perfect time. I was already like about to get started on the work just because. So then when I got this call, I was like, yeah, this is the time to do it. Mind you, in between this time, like I said, I have had these 3 years of wilderness and questions and thoughts and concerns. Um, and like I said, was finally feeling the itch to create work and felt like I had a nice kind of toy box and treasure box of thoughts and ideas and inspirations and lived experience that I could pour into uh some more art. And so I used that and transmuted that into this. And yeah, so happy to answer more, but that's kind of like the general of how I got to the artwork. I will say the symbol that I um, created or that I needle punched is the North Star symbol. And obviously very notably used by Mother Harriet. Um, and it was I remember when the first time I looked up quilt codes, it was the one that like stood out the most to me. They're all beautiful, and I want to do a collection of multiple of them,
Mm-hmm.
but that one caught my eyes. And fast forward when I went to go do this, it was still catching my eye, and I was like, I'm going to do the North Star. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until, and I think I kind of wrote about this in a caption of like, I went into this thinking like, I'm going to honor my heritage and ancestors and tell the story of the quote codes and what it means to follow the North Star, what it meant for my ancestors to follow the North Star. And it wasn't until I was in the process of making this piece and stitching it that I realized I was actually creating and depicting and creating this material form of my own North Star that I've had to follow, that I've had to have faith in and trust over these last 3 years.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so there was a lot of crying, lots of journaling. I remember just like sitting back one day and crying of like, wow, there were so many North Stars that I had to follow and return to over
Mm.
these last 3 years, um, to create peace and opportunity for myself and newness for myself. And I was just in a pool of tears of gratitude of just being so thankful, um, for doing that work and for those North Stars, showing themselves and that all being revealed to me, through, this process called life. So, um, yeah, we can get more into it, but I'll let you guide what direction we want to go into next about the piece.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
you were talking about the quilt codes, which I'm so grateful that you elaborated on,
Hmm.
especially as it relates to the exhibit itself. That
Yeah.
is, that's one of those pieces of Black American culture and history that is still so active, you know.
Yes.
And I just love that. I love that, you know. So I
Yeah.
brought us to the root of, you know,
Yeah.
our language, you know, Black American language, um,
Yes.
is
Yes.
its own thing.
It's
And
our own thing.
yes, and so I honor the spirit of being Black American, you know,
Yes.
is
Yes.
truly a new thing. We are a mixture of, you know, West African, of
Hmm.
the indigenous Americans,
Hmm.
of the terror of the transatlantic slave trade. This is what
Hmm.
makes us who we are, you know, a
Yeah.
unique creation. Um,
Hmm.
and our language is a part of how we communicate. It's a part
Hmm.
of what is protecting us, you know, what's
Yeah.
keeping us anchored and grounded in this reality. Something
Mhm.
that we talk about often, we lift up often, one of the elders in the New African Bodun
Mm.
Society mentioned is that language is cultural protection. You know, so how
Yes.
we live,
Mm.
how we're speaking to each other, how we talk to each other, this is what has kept us free.
Yeah.
So um,
Yeah.
the
Can you say that again? That line, the language, that part.
language is cultural protection.
Language is cultural protection. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember the elder's name who said that, but I will find them, and
Hmm.
correspondence that you send out, we can tag his name. But
Yes, yes.
this is that we quote all the time to really anchor us, and you know the power of how we communicate, and again where that's coming from. So
Hmm.
um, I'm curious with that. What is the story that Delightfully Aligned is telling? You know, what through the symbols and the language of the North Star, what is that story?
I think a couple things. One is the process of being, how can I say, like the process of being sculpted, like being created. Um, if you think about pottery, and how, the skill of time and touch creates this new shape and this new form, from something that just starts out as a shapeless blob. If you think about a rock in a river that over, decades and centuries is reshaped by the running water. Um, that's one thing that this piece, Delightfully Aligned, means, to me, or showcases, um, both physically, like me creating the piece was a lot of layers of different things. Um, it wasn't just paint or it wasn't just oil pastels. Like I said, it was this layering of needle punching and then beading and then sewing and then stretching. Um, and that process wasn't, I didn't have what the piece, and I'll kind of get into the presentation to kind of show some of the works. Can you guys still see uh the presentation? Yeah, okay, cool. Um, so I didn't know that this final piece, as you see it, was going to like it was going to be this. I had no idea. All I knew was like I knew the starting the first step. So I guess another lesson out this piece, one is about being molded and shaped. The second lesson would be just start. Start with the first step of direction that you have received. Me, I can be a little, what's the agenda? I can be a little, what's the agenda? Where are we going? What are the talking points? And like not literally about like this, but as far as like life stuff goes, sometimes you just want to look, what are the next four steps? Where is this guide? Where is this leading? If I don't get this, then what's next in line? Just a little information. But as we know, or most of us will know, spirit doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? You have to trust and surrender. You have to be delighted in what you have. You have to be delighted in yourself and what you know you're capable of and what you can produce, um, and what you can call in, um, in balance. And so, um, I didn't know that it would be this. I just knew I wanted to needle punch that star. So I drew out the star and I started to needle punch that star. I made my own little design changes to the star. So traditionally the star does not have the circle in the center of the square, but I added that as circles have always been something that I've used in my work literally since I started creating like work professionally or more seriously in 2019. Um, I just love a circle, love a circle, love a shape in general. But obviously circles symbolize so much, a returning, an affinity, a cycle. And so I like to work with circles because nothing is lost in the life that we live. And circles remind me of that all this comes back around. To mean something. And so I just started with that. Now, once I finished, I'll kind of go through these photos. So this is the current state of the artwork that is on display. Um, so yes, here's what I drew when I drew out the star. And this first image here to the left shows some of the kind of the lines I started to create with the needle punching. And then I already had picked out my yarn colors that I was going to use. And the crazy thing is I have a full box of yarn that I bought a year-ish ago, because I knew I wanted to needle punch. I hadn't started at all, but I was like, I want to. And then when my good sis Joanne's decided to part ways, I went ahead and took advantage of that sale and got me an F ton of yarn. So I already had so much to pull from, colors that I always am drawn to and things like that, because I actually have another idea of how I want to incorporate noodle punch into some stuff. And I ain't talking about that tonight, but you guys will see it at a later point. So I already had the colors. And so I was like, okay, let me pull these and see what I can pull out and create. So it took me a little bit to figure out the colors that ended up becoming the final piece, which was the royal blue, the red, um, the yellow, and then the lining is brown. And so that was that. Here's just an up close photo of some of the needle punching process and progress. This is me at home. This also during this time was a lot of late nights, early mornings kind of thing. So I work full time at a restaurant. I work on a weekly basis, 3 to midnight, generally on most days. Um, it's been hard to adjust to that timeline, that schedule, especially for the last 5-ish years. I've been, I've just been working full time as an artist, so I didn't have a schedule in that kind of way. So, although, but I do love my job and it's serving another purpose, but Meaning when I got off work, I was working on these pieces till about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Not every day, but some days, many days. And just getting it done. And so sitting, late night working on this and just thinking to myself and talking to myself and just letting my spirit just stretch, it brought up a lot for me. And that's when I was starting to see these connections of like, oh, I'm not just making this thing that depicts this thing separate from me. I'm actually also literally threading my own story into every punch that I make on this stretch board. So that was a lot of this for me. And um yeah, it got exhausting. And honestly, something that came out of this was the courage and the language and the vision and the option that I can change my work schedule. And so I end up shifting my work schedule and it's about to make another shift. But yeah, but the point was one day I was so exhausted that I just had like a cry fit and I needed to go home and just like rest. And so again, that returning of like, don't overwork, you don't have to overwork to produce. So anyways, here's some more up close photos. Although nobody sees this part, I actually really enjoy my own gridding and mapping that I do with the needle punching. Everybody's punches look different on the back end, but this is kind of how I like to create. And I was told by the artist I was interning with that I needle punch very neat, so I thought that was cool. But then we finish it. So I knew up until this point what to do. I was like, okay, I have now did the thing that I had in my mind of, punching the star on the stretch. And now from this process, it was a matter of figuring out where do I want to go. So I know on this presentation we jumped from here to here. There was a lot of thoughts and experimenting between those two processes. I wasn't really thinking about beating at that point as when I was finishing. I was trying to think of a way to just display the star as is, but it was missing something. Like I like a lot of layering. I like a lot of yeah, just like a lot of layering. Even when I paint, there's a lot of layering. And it was missing a couple layers. It was missing some of the like yeah, the layers of the storytelling. And so I was experimenting with different ways of how I could add layer, whether it was um on a canvas or am I painting a background? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? I even experimented with uh, having like a wood background. I bought some wood and was thinking maybe I can, frame it in this kind of way and have it hanging. Something I also wanted to consider because I was shipping the piece was that it was easy to hang once the gallery received it because it did needed to be shipped ready to hang. And so that was a design element that I was more so kind of considering at this point of like, yeah, this part a lot felt like the design. Like, okay, I did the art part or I did the arting of it. Now, how am I designing the display of this piece? Thank you. Those are the words I was looking for. This was about designing the display, which for my storytellers, you guys know, like you have the story and then you design how do you want to tell the story? Where am I starting at in the story? What is the beginning, middle, end? Um, and what is the peak, what is the plot, all the things. So this was kind of my design in the storytelling of like, okay, I did this thing. Now how am I having folks enter in this conversation? Um, so I was thinking about beading. There is an artist here in Columbus whose work I'm really inspired by. She does a lot of beading work. I even got to like do a like train under her with a workshop. This was before this, or the workshop was after this moment, but um, I also like did jewelry growing up, so I had a little bit of a background beading and just kind of making soft and flexible and fragile things. And so I was like, all right, I got these beads. Let me see. I went out, scouted some more, sourced for some more beads. And so the beads are a mix of pony beads, which are just the name of the regular beads that we all grew up with in our hairs. So the pony beads from the hair store. um, wooden beads, also from the hair store, and glass beads. Um, and so that's the mix of the types of beads in this piece. Um, but yeah, so I got really excited about the beading thing. And you guys, like I mentioned, I love color and color combination. So I was really, the beading part took another several days and hours over weeks because I was trying to figure out how do I want to bead, what are the patterns that I'm doing in the beading and this, that, and the other. Um, Again, just trying to figure out how I wanted to hang it. I was thinking maybe I could have no background and have it kind of like a string situation, which would be a cool idea, but again, that wouldn't have been as easy for the exhibition people to hang. So just going through these different ideas. Fast forward, I figure out how I want to present the piece, which is how I showed you on the canvas. Um, and the name Delightfully Aligned, I wish I could find it. I thought I saved it, but doesn't look like I did, but I'm still hoping I come across it. Is Her name is on Instagram is like Miss Packy Yeti, I think, or something like that. But she's like a political commentator slash cultural commentator person. And I came across like this prayer essentially that she wrote on thread. And at the very end, she used delightfully aligned. She was basically saying like, she wants to surrender to what God has for her and she doesn't want anything outside of what's meant for her, blah, blah, blah. She ended with like, I only want to be delightfully aligned or something like that. And I was like, that's it. That's it. So that's where the name Delightfully Aligned was inspired by. And so in that though, speaking of codes and secret language and communication and uh, the visible with the invisible within the visible. Only you guys know this at this point, but the back of the star has a secret message. This little satchel that I cut and hand sewed and created the little latch or the string pull. Inside of that is on a written piece of paper that says delightfully aligned. I can't tell you everything inside there, but it says delightfully aligned. And I think I wrote my name and the date, blah, blah, blah. But a way of saying like I was here. And so I sewed this satchel on the back of the piece, um, and ironed it flat so that it didn't bulge, but it's like its own secret thing. Nobody knows it's there. Um, at a later point I'll share, but as of now, no one knows. Some more images of me just kind of going through different ways I wanted to play with beads. Oh, there goes the note right there. There goes the front side of the note. Um, and then this is the way that it is presented now, hanging. Um, yeah, so that's what means to me. A couple of different messages just around balance, around telling our own story and being open to being sculpted by our life experiences. And using it all back to the circle, like nothing goes to waste. So
Indeed.
those are some of the things, yeah.
Wow. You, the magic is so layered, much like how you create. I'm just like, it's so much brilliance in just your process of creation and specifically this piece that I'm like, I could literally talk to you all day about this.
Girl, we could be here all day.
I have so many questions. You talked about your pieces being maps. And as you
Yes.
were creating this one, this was a map back to your home, back to your North
Yeah,
Star.
yeah.
And I really do feel like, and I mentioned this earlier, that this map is delightfully aligned with where I feel as a collective we're being called to really return to self and
Hmm.
you know, sur-
Hmm.
we I feel like, we're in a time socially, culturally, politically, economically, where it's like we have done the things that we know to do, and at some point we have to surrender to come
Yeah.
to the alignment of the divine, where we
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
delighted to move forward. And
Hmm.
a part of that is resting, is taking a break, is saying, I've done all that I know to do. Let me
Hmm.
live for a minute.
Yes.
Let my higher self
Yes.
get aligned with my ancestral self, get aligned with my divine self.
Hmm.
I can be clear. And again, looking forward to moving.
Hmm.
So this map, it hits deeply. And utilizing the Black girl magic beads, that really set it off, honey. That is what took me to outer space when I saw the bead, because that's what put the vision of the dream catcher in my head, seeing
Yes.
that chain. And so that's why I really see this as a whole Midwest hoodoo portal, because
Yes.
it has those West African elements, it has the indigenous elements, but it also has that Black Americanness that is undeniable
Yes.
all through
Yeah.
and hidden, which is totally a part of our culture. That secret
Yeah.
language, that secret messaging that's for our protection. So,
Yes.
and that, the way that I received your intention, that was aligned with your intention, is a part of how we got to this conversation. Because I was just,
Yeah.
well, this is so beautiful. This is
Right.
me of the dream catcher. And then
Yeah.
yeah, that was, one of the
Yeah.
ends, and you were calling it, you said grandmother clock.
Yes. So I was, it's it's a dream catcher, it's a timekeeper, and
Mm,
it is a internal navigation system.
mm,
And I was calling it like the grandmother clock. We all know grandfather clock, but I said, no, this is my grandmother clock. And the clock idea came because that string that I beaded, it is flexible, it moves. So it's
mm,
not a fixed object. Again, back to the flexibility of life and just journeying. So it swings, it's like a pendulum. And I see it as a pendulum, I work with it as a pendulum. And I love that it moves. If you've seen my other styles of paintings, they always have like the trimming. And one of my favorite part about that trimming is that it allows a static object, just a canvas frame to have life and breath and movement. Like movement is one of my first creative loves. If you know, I grew up as a dancer, so movement has to be in everything that I do, how I live. I really try to work with that as a tool. And so I move that into my art. And so I really like to have elements that are moving because it just allows my pieces to feel like they're living, like they have breath.
yeah,
And they're not just these like static things. Um, and ain't nothing wrong with a little static moment, but my point is I really gravitate towards movement. So um yeah, so that was about the grandmother clock.
yes, yeah. And the beaded piece, the part of it that really makes me feel the dream catcher medicine is that it is grandmother medicine. So you were saying grandmother clock, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
medicine, you know? And
Yeah.
a part of the intention that the Ojibwe or Chippewa mothers held when they created the Dreamcatcher technology is that this would be a tether to their children to always find their way back home. So it's
Yes.
divine and delightful.
Yes. And when you dropped that in the chat, I said, "Oh my gosh," because I
Yes.
did not know that history about dream catchers. I've just known them as like, a dream catcher, you see it, but like to know the history around how culturally how it's significant in our own ways around, like you said, just being tethered to the great mother. I was just like, wow.
Yes.
Like I feel like we were just going bar for bar as far
Yeah,
as
we
what
were.
it meant for each other uh separately, but it was a lot of like it was like a DNA web, that that
And
was just like forming of
yes,
ideas. Yeah.
truly a portal. Truly a portal.
Truly a portal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that, given all this context, really could, like I said, hold conversation for hours. So I want to open the floor for any
Yeah.
questions that we may have from our viewers.
Come on, viewers. Is there a piece of the, is there a picture of the piece we can see? Don't know if you're moving through. Oh, yes. Any questions, anybody? You're welcome to either type it in the chat or unmute yourself um, to speak. I hope you guys are able to unmute yourself. I was trying to make sure those settings were
Can y'all hear me?
okay. Yes.
What's up, y'all? This is Raja.
Hey, Raja.
Yo, girl. First of all, I want to apologize for that music playing. That was definitely me.
It's okay. You was out, you was trapping in the house. It's okay. No, I'm
And
joking.
somebody sent me some, man. I watched it, so that was on me.
It's all
But
good. I appreciate it though.
I had a question though. I would type it, but I'm not into texting and typing, man. I'm a verbal person. So
Yes.
when did you know it was time to like at least start going towards that horse? Cause you say you started walking towards it. You're not really on the horse just yet, but
Yeah.
it's time to start going at least towards that horse.
I think something that was funny, that was funny that came up about returning to the horse was I felt the same resistance when it was time for me to get off the horse. Funny as it is, like um when I was on the horse, I was ready to go, go, go. What's the next project? What's the next thing? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And like I said, I felt that resistance of getting off and resting. And then um I got comfortable and safe with rest, which I knew. My higher self came to me at it like in the in between point and said, "Girl, can you just take a break because you already know shit's gonna pop off again, and you don't want to be exhausted when Oprah calls you for that collab. Like you don't want to be over here, hey, da, 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 and you ain't gonna have no excuse because you've been chilling. I gave you plenty of space to rest, kick your legs up." Go take a bath, go down to the lake, do your hair, do your nails. Like it's gonna be no excuse because you literally have all the time. I've stripped all the things. Not in a bad way, but in a freedom way. Like I think sometimes when we talk about being stripped, it's always this like, everything was taken from me. It's like sometimes that is a blessing. I had my hands were free. My hands were free, kind of to your point. Yeah, about like you said about like the surrender, like I've done what I can. Like, and so it got to a point where I realized like you've done what you can. Like be rejoice in the work that you have done. Like stop trying to have something else to do to prove or whatever, like fill a gap, you know what I'm saying? So, um I remember that voice saying, just please, just take the time to rest. And so I finally did. I released the resentment, I released the resistance, I released the like eagerness, and I started dancing in that lavender field. I was having me a good time. I invited some folks in, like I built a little shack, like like I really made it home. And so when it was like I kind of I feel like I heard the horse like, make the neighing sound, like the I felt the I felt the hoof, you know. I said, "What? I can't hear you. I'm dancing. I'm having fun." And the horse was like, I'm ready to go for a little walk. Let's take a long walk around the park. And so I said, okay. So I kind of felt it was less of a like, I hope I'm answering your question as best as I can, Raja, but um it was a internal shift, an adjustment. It was a new posture. It was a new cut. It was a new color. It was a new like It was a refreshing of myself, of my spirit, of my mind. It was inspiration that I organically had, that I wasn't forcing myself to retrieve in order to be able to show something, and to prove, here's what I've been doing, here's how I've been using my time. You know, it wasn't none of that. I honestly, I lived, you were talking about living life. Like I lived a life in between. Like, okay, I'm not really making art right now, although I obviously I'm always making something, but like I wasn't making art that I was sharing in that same way. So I went to the bar. I went out dancing. I called my friends. I hung out with my mama and my grandmothers and my friends. I traveled. I released myself from a relationship. I grew my hair out. I'm growing my hair, like all of these like different, I just did other stuff. There's other things to do in life. I went grocery shopping. I cooked. I uh danced more. I went to the gym. I Lots of things, lots of things. I got cute. Really, the beauty of what you're talking about, the like layer of magic, of the layering of magic and the beauty element, is why that phrase beauty as a metaphor means so much to me, because it's like beauty is significant and it has a meaning. And I think people kind of can tend to conflate beauty with nothingness, and importance to uh, like these aesthetic things about around what that looks like. And so for me, it's around like beauty is important and it has meaning, and I use that in uh, my art, but also the vessel that is me. So that was how I knew, Raja, that it was time to return. I just felt it in my heart and in my spirit. I try to be a clear vessel for God to speak to me, and so I'm always kind of tapping in and checking in. My ancestors, my angels, like all types of things kind of showed itself, and then I got the opportunity, like I said, to be commissioned for this, and so there it was, like a very easeful, seamless, well-resourced way for me to make the work that I like to make with the resources and the support that I desire to have around my work without having to force it, without having to twist the arm, twist the finger. I have created a portfolio of work, um, where people look forward to things that I make. Um, and when I got asked to be a part of it, I said, of course. And so just being like really moving with alignment, um, and answering to the things that fill my cup, as much that I pour out, um, into it. So yeah, that was some of it. Morgan, I see your hand up. Did you want to jump in, girl?
Hi, y'all. Yes, I definitely would love to jump in. First of all, shout out to you, Toby. So proud of you. Everyone, y'all are doing a great job together collectively. But to ask a question, something that's standing out about this piece that you mentioned, the time that you were, working on these like late nights after you've already done your job as far as being of service to other people for a long duration of time, and coming home to create even more. Just thinking about how much spirit is a part of this, it seems. I was curious, as you were creating, particularly in the later nights, early mornings, did it feel like there was a different connection you had to that piece because of the time of day that you were working on it? Were there more downloads that came to you? Um,
Mhm.
just along that line of, you've been so busy all day, and then in a space where oftentimes people are like, oh, I'm depleted once I get home, like, one, finding the energy and strength to pursue this, and then
Yeah.
in that being able to find and discover things more from a spiritual space.
Yes, that's a great question. Thank you, Morgan. I I have not birthed any children, but sometimes I liken this process, or I call my pieces my kids, and it is a birthing process in its own way. And so if I kind of think about it, how if you birthed a child and you had to be up late nursing that baby, you gotta nurse that baby. You gotta nurse that baby, like, depleted and all. And so I was nursing my child. I was nursing my baby. And yes, I was tired, but mama was happy to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was happy to do it, and I was happy not only because um of just the art, but like I said, this was kind of like one of my first pieces of I don't even know how to always describe it, but like putting the work back out in a way. And so I was excited and I was like honored. It was more of a devotion and a like an initiation. And so it was tiring, don't get me wrong, for absolutely sure, to be up to that late in the day or that early in the morning to still get my rest and to be at work at 3 the same day. Like it was a lot for that like month and a half. And but for my kids, I'll do anything. But no, it was tiring, don't get me wrong. And I feel like you asked the question about like the connection. I do feel the midnight hour or the evening is a nice time, or even the early mornings. I really like the early mornings. Waking up early and having that time, in the 6, 7, 8 o'clocks of it to just kind of sit with yourself and to journal. And, I like to journal in the morning or get some tea or just kind of walk about the house. Um, Sometimes I'll watch a movie or something like that, but just those types of things. It is nice, and I do believe I receive different downloads in a way. Sometimes they're not these very specific like messages, but for me, it's sometimes just about actualizing and designing the life that I desire. And so having the ability to um, work on a piece. Having the ability to be commissioned and to work on a piece and, have the supplies to do it and, as tired as I am, have the time and space to do it, taking advantage of that and working with that. But like I said, I also shifted where I needed when I needed that time off that day when I just really was not feeling myself because I was literally exhausted. I took the day off to tend to myself. Um, when I noticed I generally needed shifts in my schedule to tend to myself mentally and physically. I braved those conversations to have to, create that space for myself. Um, so it's not something that I create necessarily a habit out of. Um, and I also I don't think I had really, this is my first time kind of like approaching how to balance the 9 to 5 or how to balance a full-time work schedule with also a creative um, path and pursuit. Because like I said, as I kicked off um, my art career during the pandemic, so there was no other schedule for me to balance other than my own. And then I was blessed to be able to sustain myself with work after that, or as things begin to open back up. And so this is something new, and I am learning a lot through it, as uncomfortable as it is. Um, and uh, so yeah, to answer your question, there was definitely lots of like downloads and breadcrumbs around things that came up. But at the same time, like I was happy to devote the time to do it. And then I knew when I turn this in, I'm taking time. So again, it's about that rest, like that balance. I mean, like when I finished this piece, I didn't go the next day into doing something. I took a good week or two just to rest, like not to have anything on my plate other than to tend to myself. And that was good because now I have some other projects due at the end of this month, and I've been able to lock in on those. Think I ain't staying up to 6 o'clock in the morning, child. But you know what I'm saying, a little 1:30, a little 1:45. Um, you know, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that, Morgan. Any other questions? Anything? I'm gonna just kind of click through some of these photos that I haven't got to. This is me taking a picture with the photos. Oh, I laugh at these pictures because I can barely crack a smile because I was so effing tired. Like I was like, here, damn, it's done. I think yeah, go right ahead. Oh, someone, oh, there you go. Yeah.
This isn't really a question. I was just
Yeah.
because I like kind of joined this on a whim. I saw this like 10 or 20 minutes before it started. And I was like, oh my God, I can make I'm in my house right now. Yay. I
Yes,
needed
yes,
something to like just break up life and scrolling, which I've been doing.
yes.
But
Hmm.
really glad that I joined and this is resonating a lot with me. And I'm just glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, girl. I'm glad you saw it, and I'm glad it's something to break up your night. I was hoping to catch some like after work folks and just whoever was available in the evening to add a little pizzazz to your Monday. Um, these photos that I'm getting to towards the end are photos from the Kennedy Heights Art Center. I do want to plug the show really quick because you are able to view this piece in person. Um, it is a gorgeous piece. Like I said, I'm really proud of it. It's kind of, you can't really see it on here as much. I think this picture kind of shows it well, but you can see um, the unevenness on the like square part. And so I was like punching this and threading this as like terrain. So it's like land where there's like our hills and there's dips and valleys, and I wanted it to feel like a square of ground, you know. So I didn't want it to just again be this like flat, static, perfect piece. Um, and my art really requires that for me to release perfectionism. Um, that is something that I am definitely healing from and releasing is perfectionism. Um, and I was definitely someone where something had to be duh, 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 duh. And painting brought me to my knees, really of like, why are you forcing me to be perfect? Like, let me breathe, girl. And then it was like, why are you forcing yourself to be perfect? Well, because when I was this age and this person said this about me, and then they told me I was gonna marry you know what I'm saying? Like it all comes out. So my art is a big part of my healing journey. Because you can't control it. You just have to be present for it and allow it to move and work through you. You just have to be a vessel. Raja, go ahead, please. Yes, like anybody can.
So out of all the mediums that you create when it
Yes.
uh, when it comes to your art,
Hmm.
which one do you feel like you're the most connected with? Like which one brings out the most emotions for you to put on or to display your art to create painting?
That's
uh,
yeah.
the what's it called, yarning? What is this thing called that you're doing?
Needle needle punching.
Needle punching? Yeah, like
I
with
got you.
I'm not good with terms, and I'm an artist. I'm
No.
still not good with terms, but yeah, which
Yes,
one
no.
brings out the most emotion or the one that you feel the most called to do?
Ooh, that is a really good question. And I appreciate the question because I be liking to do a lot of things. I I don't know if I can pick one, but I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you two. I would say painting and fiber. Um, for different reasons. Fiber because I've been doing fiber work, and just creating with fiber since I was a child. That was like the outside of dance, that was the first medium I had to create visual work. It was the most accessible. Um, I was the kid cutting things up. Like I would cut up my old jeans, my old clothes that I didn't use anymore, and make all types of random stuff out of it. Um, Also as a kid, I had the dream of becoming a fashion designer, and so I was always very like always gravitated towards like apparel and textiles and fabric as forms of expression. So um, fiber brings out that playful kitty, imaginative. I'm gonna make this and that and that and that, and just like I'm gonna just have fun and make my stuff, and I'm in my room making my own things, and nobody can take it from me, and I'm doing my thing. Like it brings out that like giddy, childlike energy in me that Toby is still very much present in my day-to-day life. She gives me life, she encourages me, and she still inspires me. So that's fiber. When it comes to painting, um, it goes back to what I was just saying. Like it really forced me to face perfection and fear. Painting for me was like it felt completely out of my universe, my world. Um, like truly, like it feels weird for me to say that now, considering how like deeply connected I am to painting and how intimate I am now with painting and what I've created through painting. But once upon a time, that felt like, child, I could never like it was just it wasn't even like I could never, it wasn't even an option. Like it was so far, it felt so far like whoa, out of me. Um, and it took me pulling myself out of just a lot of like fear and self-doubt to even just take a brush and some paint and just do okay, okay, I did it. Like I did it. Like, child, you would thought that somebody was asking me to do the unthinkable. I was just like, okay, okay. I put paint on canvas. Like it was that scary to me. It was that scary to me. Um, and then I did another stroke and another stroke, and okay, I kind of like these colors. I'll do these. I ain't gonna show nobody. I'm just gonna keep it here. All right, I guess I'll show it. The crazy thing is, one of my like first art shows, or it was more of like a market, was at the flagship location of West Elm in Manhattan, New York, in New York City. Like that was the way. Yeah, exactly. That was the way like my spirit team was showing up for me. Meanwhile, I'm shaking in my thigh-high red leather boots. Like I'm coming and I'm gonna have my boots on, but I'm nervous. Like, and I had these little paintings, child, and if you happen to find them paintings, that's on you. But I can't promise I'm gonna show you though, because I said, girl, now what were we thinking here? What was the vision? Um, but I was trying. That was the point. The vision was to try. I was trying. Do I love them now? No, but do they mean something to me? Yes, because these are artifacts of a person who was trying. And I would not be here today if it wasn't for that Toby who made these little paintings in her Bronx apartment and was working at West Elm after leaving her dream job at Ralph Lauren, and decided that I want to pursue this thing and I really want to maybe be an artist and maybe create something creative, and I don't know what it will become, and all these thoughts and just all these thoughts, and just being able to like cast that away and listen to me and listen and to try. Go ahead. Yes.
Hmm. Another question.
Please. I love questions. So,
Where you do you feel like you're at with your art now? Are you
mm,
there's only two there's many options and there's many ways that you can answer this question, but I'm only giving you two options.
okay.
Are you at the point where you're Toby's letting the art just flow and just
Mm.
happen, or are you at the point where you have an objective with your art, like you have to do this pinpoint thing, or you just letting it flow?
Uh, I am letting it flow. I would say I'm in the letting it flow. Um, and I'm clutching my pearls, literally. Even saying that, because I'm just like, again, the side of me that wants to be in control and have the agenda, and here's the dissertation, and here's how we're doing the things, and what I'm really pursuing is the idea of this and that, and like that person definitely shows up, but she shows up after the art has appeared. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, now that the art is out, now you can, you know, write and analyze and critique and all of that. But I feel like I would say I'm at the point of letting it flow simply because
Not to interrupt, but this is what I like.
no.
Ask
Yeah.
the question. I need this is the fact that you're contemplating on it or pondering on it. This is a very in-depth question. You know, it with any
Get it. Yeah.
because I think art makes people think. It makes you feel first, and then it makes you think.
Man. And I would say I think that's why I'm at the letting it flow because I'm in the space of just letting myself feel. I'm just letting myself feel. I'm not giving it, a place to live before it even presents itself and is fully materialized. And if this is what it has to be, obviously I have, intention around what I do and I have themes and inspirations and, things like that, of course, and direction around what I make. But I would say I'm definitely more in this space, especially compared to before. I'm definitely in a better space or I'm in the space of just letting it flow. And so, yeah, I think that's part of the importance of this piece too, of the North Star and of the delightfully aligned, is around letting it flow. Go ahead.
Um, this might be like a little off topic, but it still has to do with some artistry. You know what I mean?
Yes, please.
When is the last time you have instructed a yoga class?
Okay. So y'all know where we headed. None of your business. No, I'm joking. Yoga class. Last time I did a yoga class, 2023. I think 2023 or 4. I did a one class pop-up in Dayton, at a friend's studio. So it was just a couple of us. It was like literally like two or three of us. But that was the last time that that I've like hosted a yoga class.
Would you consider that? Would you consider yoga being a form of your expression of artistry and would dive back into that again, like painting that you're doing and everything else?
Generally, yes. I say like anything that I do, that I put my hands to, that I produce is a form of expression to me. So in that case, it is a form of art. Um, Yoga for me was though really it was more personal. Um, I got into yoga by way of meditation, and I got into meditation by way of depression. And so in my journey of navigating heavy feelings that I was navigating a lot around like mother wounds and home, um and change, um I was just like navigating and dealing with a lot, and the feelings that I had around that, um you know brought me to a resource which was my own breath and just stillness. And so meditation was a huge and is a huge tool for me still. Um, Through years of meditation, I got into taking some yoga classes and things like that. I had taken some in college, but just like for funsies, but then I started to see it more seriously to pursue it. And um, yeah, what it offered me was a space to be in the seat of like facilitating space and educating. And so those are definitely tools of expression for me. Um, I can't say when the next time I'll teach a yoga class. I'm definitely open to it, but again, like in this season of flow, I'm doing the things that like are showing itself, presenting itself, aligning itself. So there was an opportunity that I was going to have at the like end of last year to teach some classes, but we had to shift that for just like scheduling purposes and stuff on behalf of like the venue. So it's definitely like she's definitely around. Um, like I said, like movement and body work, somatic healing is just a process of like life for me. I was doing my somatic healing today. So like that practice hasn't left. It's just not that I'm sharing it publicly, as I was before, or like teaching and guiding other people through that. But I stretch my mom all the time. My mom's on here. She can attest. Like when I'm home, we do a little stretch sometimes, a little yoga with my grandmother, or my dad, or my siblings. So, um, I think just giving myself different formats of how I can show up in all my different mediums. Not everything is going to be a public thing. Not everything's going to be an event. Not everything is going to be shared on social. Um, at the end of the day, these are my life tools, and then some of them show up more publicly than others. So, um, yeah, I really admire and respect my practice with yoga and meditation simply for the mind balance, mind, body, and spirit of it all, and the balance that it offers me, the space that it offers, both my spirit, my aura, my mind. Um, yeah, and the strength, like building strength for me has been really important physically, in the last couple of years. Um, and just like the presence in my body. I love to feel like the blood rushing through my body. I like to feel like my body awake. So any type of practices that allow me to like breathe into that, I really enjoy. And it does allow me to be a clear vessel for my art and just for my life and the other things that we navigate day to day. So it opens, my throat chakra, it opens my healing, it opens my third eye, all the things. It definitely it has its way as in my art. It might not be as shared as publicly, but it definitely is like a tool and a practice.
Speaking of navigating, it seems like you're um as an artist, you are being guided to share the medicine that you need or that you've journeyed yourself through that, the collective also needs. The map of delightfully aligned. One of the hidden messages that I'm pulling out from this conversation is
Yeah.
we're talking about just surrendering, you
Hmm.
not feeling the need to pour out so much, you
Yes.
available
Yes.
as much to the collective. You not
Yeah.
put yourself in a position where you're, what you said, saving other people. And I love that you said that because of the symbol of the North Star. That's literally what Mama Harriet was doing. She was put
Right.
on the line to
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
this iteration of the North Star, the mothers are guiding us towards something else, guiding us towards the
Hmm.
turning of home and the restoration
Yeah.
of self. So I love that as an underlining story in this
Hmm.
and a part of the medicine that you're sharing through this piece as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a season of like I can show you better than I can tell you.
Mm,
And Mama Harriet was literally saving people, but she saved herself first.
Ashe.
On that first route, she didn't say gather around everybody. We're about to. She said, "Let me see what the path is giving. Let me see what the terrain is."
Mm,
And she did that. And of course, she came back and she did put her life and her body,
yes.
and her wisdom, her intuition on the line of just like I can't. I mean, not to even get on a tangent of that, but I cannot fathom how one escapes slavery, period, but literally through on foot through landscape and terrain,
Mm,
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
mm,
But what it does speak to me and show me that sometimes you will have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
mhm.
Ho- Ideally with for yourself, like coming back, I'm coming back for that. I'm coming back for that. I'm coming back for this of me. I'm
Yeah,
coming back for that. I'm coming back for this. I'm taking this back. I'm taking this back. I'm giving some of this back. Some of the stuff I'm not taking with me.
right.
Um, but it is a process that we have to do. And sometimes we take people along on the journey, and sometimes I can show you better than I can tell you because I'm also not about to fight the bounties, the terrain, and your monkey ass. Okay?
You can't do it.
I can't do all three of them. So
All three of
I
y'all.
I can't do, I was about to literally say all three, all three. Shout outs to Birdman. But I can't do all three, so I had to pick two, and it was me and the terrain.
Mm,
It was me and the terrain.
yes.
And if you're paying attention, then there's more than enough tips and tricks to go around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it was something else you had said about the overpouring. But and yeah, I think just like just the overpouring, I think just the overcompensation is just a hell of a drug, and I
Really.
am thankful to be freed and to be continuously freed from it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it just is such a distraction. It's just such a distraction. Um, and yeah, like as being put in the position as a kid to overcompensate, to to regulate, on behalf of others, to be hyper vigilant about energy and space and right and wrong and all of that. It does it I was in a survivor state, in a fight or flight for decades and years.
Mm,
Um, and that's why another reason why me meeting that garden was so important, because it was like I finally feel safe to
mm,
just like sit down for a second. Like I don't have to be like doing, improving, and like we love to do improve. We do love to do improve. Like like I was joking about the what was it about, like I forgot, but like working for capitalism and all those things. It's like I do, not for capitalism, but I do love to do the things. I love to create. I love to collab. I love to produce. I love to take things from mind to material. That's part of my purpose. Um, but on the not on the wave of overcompensation and a deficit to self.
yes.
Um, yeah, so to find ways to build a relationship with creativity and production and life
Mhm.
outside of that was and is very important.
Hey, this is
Go ahead.
mom.
Oh,
Um,
oh, hey.
mom hopping on here really
Hello,
quick.
mommy.
Hello, daughter. Hello, everybody. I personally, as her mother, want to thank y'all for taking the time to support her and attend this artist talk. I personally thank you all for doing that. And I just wanted to share that as a fellow creative in a different genre, I have personally enjoyed moments like this where I just get to learn more about not just you, but just different art forms and mediums and things you've taught me. And I've shared this with you. You've taught me so much. Um, Grasshopper is now teacher on a lot of things. And yes, Raja, that that yoga is reserved for us for right now.
It is a family special right now.
It's
It
a
is a
family
family.
deal
It's a
right
family
now.
deal. Yes,
Yeah,
it's a
she
family.
still got it.
Roger,
She
you gotta be in the living room by the piano next to the
you
Bible to get some
yeah,
yoga stretching
yeah.
at
You
this
gotta
point.
have happen to stop by, pick you up something I cooked, and then
Bring
receive an
some
additional
JJ's and we can
blessing.
maybe talk some out.
But she still has her Toby touch, pun totally intended. She hasn't lost any of that. And like she said, it just, she shifts and transitions and morphs and all the things. And I have truly not just saying that because I birthed her, but I got you. I got you. He says send the Addy. But I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it from day one, from watching her squad, from seeing them grow from high school Stivers kids and blossoming into something freaking amazing. They blow my mind. Y'all blow my mind. I've met a lot of you through my daughter and witnessed your art and different things. And I lift all of you up. I send up just a prayer that God continues to guide all of you. I can't imagine wanting to do this at well, I can imagine wanting to do it, but it's just the different things that you guys face as artists. And I want all of that to be answered, relieved, and not to take away the process and the struggle of different things because that builds so much character and wisdom and beautiful things come out of those struggles. I know that firsthand, but just that you get the support and the opportunities and the space and all those things to share, continue to share your gifts with the world.
Oh, amen. Thank you, mommy. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, babe.
I appreciate it. Yeah. And just to, I'm going to shout out the artists in the room because everybody here is artists. For those who I know, I definitely don't mean to leave anybody out, but I will start with my mother. My mother is a recording artist. She is a singer, a talented live performer, and she has her own practice of beauty through the practice of makeup and image making. So shout outs to her. Shout outs to my mommy. I see, I'll go to Raja. Fun fact, me and Raja was actually neighbors back in the day, but Raja is a incredible and very talented photographer. He's also an artist educator as well as a painter as well. So that's really dope. Just a lot of the connections in this virtual room. My good sis, Morgan and Dana here. Morgan is a content creator. She is a visual storyteller, a digital storyteller. Check her out on her platforms. She does a lot of work around like highlighting and spotlighting uh, Dayton entertainment and culture. So she does a lot of like recaps for events, restaurants. All types of stuff. My good sis Dane, who I've been knowing since middle school, is a first of all, is a master's graduate as of 2 weeks
Yes,
ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
yes, yes.
She has her master's in business entertainment, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong. She is also a talented cultural producer and creative director. And yes, and
Thanks,
then
sis.
hey girl.
Hey, I'm sorry,
I
I'm
didn't
just
know if
now
you
able
was
to chime
around.
in, but I've been listening. It's been so good. Okay, I'm bye. Bye bye.
Okay, okay, girl. Yeah. And then C is a great writer who I've met on the interwebs land, but we've been connected through some other types of like reflective and writing creative spaces. And Yejide is also an artist. We're actually both from Dayton, but we met. Actually, I don't know if we actually met at Skidmore, but we both went to Skidmore together. We went to the same college together. They are a great creative artist and visual artist as well. They are also an educator, so they teach in the schools right now. And I gotta shout you out, Iya. Iya is a great scholar around indigenous Black and African religions and spiritualities. She's also a creative. She creates a lot of workshops and courses that educate us on some of the missing pieces of our culture, of our wisdom, of our spiritual and divine connections. And she has a really cool point of view around how she educates and interprets and shares. So I believe I hit everybody in the room except um, Osang Bimi. I don't want to leave you out if you also are a creative. Um, but yeah, I just want to shout you out because I'm amongst my peers. I'm amongst other creatives, other world builders, other portal creators, other portal protectors.
Mm.
And just as you see me, I see you. And once again, I just thank you for holding this space. I don't know where this will go, but I know it will go. I do know that.
Yeah.
And so I just thank y'all for just witnessing this slice of the pie of whatever this is to grow into.
I got
Go ahead, Raj. Oh,
a
go ahead.
concern or whatever. Not a concern, but like this is it might be a two-part question, but this is for your mom actually. I didn't know your mom was on here.
Yes.
Yes, mother is here.
I knew, but I didn't know. So my question was going to be until your mom had got, or you explain who your mom was and what she does was, where did you get your artistic DNA from? Because you know
Hmm.
stuff's
Yes.
fall too far from the tree. And me being an
Yes.
artist, I try to find somebody in my family with art. I'm literally the only one that does art. So my family
Mm.
doesn't they can relate to me, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
artist's mind is very unique, it's very layers, it's very in depth.
Yes, Lord.
Family who doesn't do art and is a Christianity family, and you know
Yeah.
it's very it's like I'm the black sheep, which I'm perfectly fine with that because I'd rather be misunderstood anyway. Like I'd rather people try to figure me out and never figure.
Yes.
And then the other part was because of that. This is a question for the mom. Uh, how supportive or were you supportive from the jump with your daughter being into art and going down her own path from the jump, or was there like, you know what, you need to do this first, you need to do that first, you shouldn't be no artist, blah blah blah, or you were just already with it?
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
answer
get.
first. I'm gonna
I,
answer first. So
oh
let me set the
Lord, girl.
stage.
But she got on the screen for this one, man. This
Oh,
one might have been
nah,
serious.
nah, buddy.
This one. This one.
Well, he asked me the question first. The first part was for me. But anyway, I will say, so thankfully I do come from a creative lineage. We are very creative in very different ways. Not I wouldn't say like there's a lot of visual artists. I can kind of say I'm the only visual in my blood lineage in the most recent times. Um but like I said, my mother is a singer, my grandmother is a singer. They both have toured and sung with bands and performed live. So like I love the live performance element. I love a show. I love a production. I love storytelling through music and art and experience. Like that's definitely something that's in the blood. But also like again, not visual art, but informs what I do. Like a lot of people in my family have some type of a juke joint or food business or something like that, or have some type of entrepreneurial pursuit. So, in different ways, like I feel like coming from Dayton, coming from a working class environment, everybody has like a little couple things that they're doing. And so I didn't necessarily grow up with the view of like seeing somebody be like living only as an artist, but I did get to see what life looks like as an artist in the place where I'm from. And it looked like going to the factory and then going to play for the band afterwards. It looked like being a teacher and also having a show that night. It looked like running the nonprofit organization and also singing at the funeral. Like it was all of those different things. And I think that does give me space um to understand the different ways that like creative living can show up. Um because I definitely do have pursuits of like architecture. Oh my God, why can I say the word? Architectural digest. And but to be honest, them people, we ain't coming from the same cloth. Like we ain't coming from the same cloth. Like, it's a different thing. So I really honor my kind of Midwest roots and my working class roots of what it looks like to balance this all. Um, so yeah, I would say that I was inspired. I have a godmother who also is a visual artist who is incredibly successful. and has been collected by museums and has traveled to different countries for her work. So that also was was a North Star when it came to like the visual creative sides. And then, Mommy, your question was about the support. How did you support me, or did you support me as an artist from the beginning? Go ahead, girl, go ahead.
Well, and you did nail it. She nailed it. She nailed her part all day. But as the mom, I just think it was all a blessing because we are I'm a creative, I'm a Stivers kid. We're all the things. And so when she began, what she did was she tricked us. She tricked me
I was gonna
because
say, when you asked that question, Raja, something
yes,
that you should know is that I don't ask for permission. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know,
Like,
I
I just
know.
be no, I'm telling Raja, like, he might not know. I'm just
Oh,
saying, like, I didn't say, hey mommy, hey daddy.
yeah,
It's
yes, she did it right. So
I'm doing
what?
the
So
things.
this is what it looked like in real time. She is dancing. We are going to the performances, and I'm looking at my daughter, and I'm seeing how uh track star and dancer, all that goes together. Her body speaks, and so that's what I'm getting during
Her body speaks.
to
That's a
high
show.
school years, right? And then she would emerge from the basement because that's a rites of passage thing here in the house is when you get older, you might get the room downstairs. And so she would emerge from the basement with all these things that she had made from scrappings of things that I've left at the door to take to the Goodwill and or take to the shelter because that's what we do when the pants are too small and the shirt's got a little stain on the shoulder. We don't throw nothing away. We bless somebody else with that. And then I would look up and see those jeans missing or something. And then here she comes with earrings that I still have and wear, with a purse that she
Indeed.
had made, right? So when she, then goes on to work for Ralph Lauren and intern and then working, and I'm seeing it, I said, oh baby, we are gonna be on somebody runway, because I saw that. And then these paintings and pieces pop out and leave me speechless, crying, everything. And I literally told her, I said, you never even doodled in the house. I don't have no memory of just per se looking over beyond regular childhood. You're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, the little teapot and the macaroni necklace that I also still have. Those regular, the school
Clock it.
creations, right? And but like you on your Picasso, like what the heck? Like it it blew my mind. It blew my mind. But and then she just shared it, and I under when she shared it, that also brought me to tears because I understood it completely. There are certain gifts that God gives us, and I mean He overloads. So I've always known that I could sing, and then not in a braggadocious way, but I knew He gave me that gift as a child.
Yeah.
But other things, it's like, well, I'm not for sure if I can. I don't know if I can do that. So to see her, to know that that was something that was always in her, but she was, what she shared was that um she was down there doodling, but the confidence level wasn't there yet, so that's not sure, so she didn't bring those
Hmm.
upstairs per se.
Hmm.
What she felt good about, we got to see. But there were other things that she was doing and thinking about that we never knew until she
Hmm.
became Tobi the artist. And it wasn't because of any lack of a support, or I mean, I know, that I have told them I don't have no rules for my kids beyond regular household stuff, meaning whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do. We don't have, well, I was a doctor and so we expecting everybody else to be a doctor, and I sing so you sing. We don't do that. But so there was never of a lack of appreciation, well, I need you to get a job and that art stuff ain't gonna pay no bills. How I'm gonna say that? And I was 19 recording an album with that little girl right there by my side. So I shared that to say, um, as a parent, when you guys get to an age to where things come a little clearer, you have to look at us as the people that we are. So in this case, that wasn't going to her wanting to be an artist and do that full time or do anything with that. She never was going to have any lack of support or negative anything, energy or anything with that. Me and her father hate that we're not just wealthy so we could buy all the pieces. I mean, like literally, like we be over here like, so now once the brother get out, we can sell this, buy her a studio and put an end to this shit because no, I need her to have everything that she needs
I
because
need my
she has what
things.
she needs. She is in her. So it's just these resources and different things, baby. Let me hit the lotto. Let any big blessing come to me. My daughter's studio is done. It's ours forever. She'll always have it.
Beauty as a Metaphor Studios.
Yeah, forever. It's gonna be a family, such and such. We're gonna keep it up. When whatever, it's gonna be in safe hands while she touring the world. Hear me when I say, hear me when I say, if he ever let it happen, I already know what I'm going to do. But like I said, my I come from that, and like she said, we don't necessarily have a visual artist. No one else per se in the family has even recorded anything, but my uncle was a musician. My father loved poetry, which instilled my love of
And jazz,
poetry and
which is
jazz.
a huge influence for me is jazz.
Huge,
Like the
huge.
abstraction, the improv approach and techniques of jazz. So, yeah.
Yeah. And daddy just loved his baby girl. He just loved her and just gonna
Hmm.
support her, period. But just
Yeah.
speaking as the mom, I understood all of that because I'm the same way, just like I said, with a different genre. And I didn't get any negative self-talk. So I don't even have that trauma in that area to pass on to her because I was supported when I was 18, 19 years old, recording my little first album. So she wasn't going to get nothing but love from me from that standpoint. And like I said, if I had a question, I asked. I don't act like I know that. I let her know. Now, this is something that I don't know nothing about. So mama is all ears and eyes and listening and really taking this in so we can hear how to support you. So yes, we're going to be on the artist talk. We're going to come Cincinnati, Columbia. I mean, we're going to do all the things.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Billy Ewing.
and
Thank you,
and
Mom.
Racha, just for you, babe, whatever, wherever you felt unsupported or anything like that, I just pray for peace in that area. And I pray that you get what you need from this day forward if you don't already have it. And one thing that I have learned that I'll share with y'all as much as I love my family, and I do,
And we do.
I mean, to death. But my
But
biggest supporters do not share my blood. I mean, just real talk and not in word and deed, more specifically that so it may not, and I have a quote that that I didn't realize was going to be my quote when in the moment that I said it, but not shifting gears, but just to provide the context, I'm also a brain tumor survivor. And so when the hospital that did my surgery first shared my story with the world, they followed me around. And that's just how they got the footage. So everything was real and they're just following me through the day. And I go to the Second Street Market a lot. So they follow me that day to the market. And I'm doing what I do. I'm a hug a stranger. Like I'm that person. If we get to chopping it up about something, I tell folks I don't know a stranger till you do something strange. And one of the things I said was you have to keep your eyes and your ears open because where your hope come from may not come from a person that you think that looks like you, same age, different race, all those things. But if you have your eyes and your heart and your ears and all the things open to receive it, you will. And so, because I've never locked in that it got to come from my family and nobody else, I have received so much of that from so many people because I didn't put a image on what it looked like or who it would come from or how it would come. And that has helped me a lot. And that's just me being a mama, just to share that with you. Um, your biggest supporter may not, it sucks, it does, it don't feel good, I know, but it may not be who you think it is. But that support, what you need, he will send it your way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's very valid. Yeah, I don't, it ain't always meant for your family to give it to you at the end of the day either, personally. Like, I think even between my mom and I's relationship, there's been things that my mom just ain't been able to give me. And we've had our conversations about that. So, releasing that ability, capacity, um, is helpful. And also, it's okay. Like, I relate with you on the black sheep thing. Like, every family has the person that's different or a little bit out different from the rest. Um, and a lot of times we all feel that way. There's only sometimes a few of us that actually allow ourselves to show up how we know and see ourselves to be, and are able to like navigate out of the discomfort of being, like you said, misunderstood or misread or unsupported or whatever the case may be. So, um, yeah, thank you for sharing, Mother. I appreciate it. Thank you, Raja, for your questions and
Yes.
contributions too. Um, does anybody else have any other questions? I'm just kind of catching the time. I was
Yes.
going to end this around. Oh, please. Oh, that was you. Sorry. I was like, who's I was like, who's there?
I wanted to big up Oshun Bemi, who's on the line, who is in the
Okay.
spread, honey. Um,
Yes, yes.
also is
Uh,
she's my Elay sister. We go way back from community organizing to now we are in a
yeah.
spiritual collective together. But she
Yeah.
also is an amazing artist and soon to be fashion designer, but definitely baddie fashionista Midwest.
Yes.
So again, you are surrounded,
Thank you.
by the divine alignment of artistry,
Hmm.
um, the black girl magic of it all.
Yes. Thank you for naming that. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
good to know. It's good to know who's all in the room.
Yes. Indeed. So thank you for inviting us, to all be together tonight,
Hmm.
journey on this portal of delightfully aligned, to ask you questions, to get a behind the scenes look at you as an artist, your process, your journey to getting here, the healing work that you have been doing, just what you've been up to while you've hopped off the horse for a little bit.
Yes, this is literally the intention I wanted it to be. Like, obviously sharing about the art, but like you said, like a little what you've been up to moment as well. And like I said, I wanted it to be intentional and I wanted it to feel intentional. And if you know me, I love the intimate. And so when I was just like, let's get on Zoom, like I don't really want to be on Instagram Live right now where any and everybody can come in. Um,
Right.
I want to be with the people that choose to show up, um, you know, I'm still that Scorpio moon where I'm like, who's all gonna be there? Like, I don't need you all over here, you know. But I said maybe the next talk, but not this one because this one is I'm hopping off the porch once again.
Yes.
So I said, child, if it's me and you, it's me and you. If it's me, you, and one other person, it is what it is. Like I'm still grateful either way. So like I said, thank you all for showing up. I do want to plug this. Yeah, I do want you to continue so you can finish close. But before I forget, I'm a part of Art Noir is an arts organization based
Mhm.
in Dayton, but their annual kind of event season is this month in this time period. So I am back for the second year. I've been kind of brought on as the design and curator consultant. And so last year did an art talk, something like this. It was in person, but like a way to kind of dive into artist practice and process. This year I'm doing more design work, but for anybody who's on the call and that is in driving distance and has the availability. It's a two-part day. Friday is actually scratch what I said.
RSVP.
More so, yeah, it's Saturday. So Saturday is the open to the public event. It is at the Springfield Museum of Art, which is in Springfield. It's Ohio's only Smithsonian affiliated museum, which is really, really dope. It's about 30 minutes from Columbus, 30 minutes from Dayton, depending on where you guys are coming from. And tickets for Saturday are $30. It's basically just a party at the museum, so there'll be like a live DJ with some light bites and a bar. And there is a multiple exhibitions open, but there's one that is curated by Bing Davis, who is an international artist who is also from Dayton, Ohio. So lots of fun art from other Midwest artists and beyond will be featured. So I just wanted to throw that out there if anybody is interested, free. Even if you can't come this year, definitely check out their page and maybe you can stay tapped into their work beyond this week. So please continue.
Yeah, so that is aligned with what I wanted to ask you. Like, what's next for you
Mm.
as an artist? Where you take?
Oh. I was trying to turn my background because I want you to see my earrings. It matches my piece, and I'm just noticing that I've been an earless person this whole time. But either way, what's next, darling? All things beautiful, all things fly, all things funky, all things Toby, all things abundance, all things transformative, all things uh gag oriented. That's a weird word, but yes. Uh like yeah. Um uh, get your safe words ready because I can't tell you how hard I'm gonna go. So baby, if I'm going too hard, say something, but you might have to step out the room. I can't promise that I'm gonna slow down. But what's next is this weekend. Like I said, I'm supporting Art Noir again this year. Come check us out. I'm designing some handouts, some like more print material. I love to design for print because these are things that can be archived and that you can keep. So I'm excited to for you guys to see the contribution that I'll be making to that. Um I what is next? So I'll say what's also something I'm working on. Some of you have seen, but I have like a little project called the Dillard Brewster Project. I haven't done like the full like soft launch. I've done a soft launch, but I haven't done the official launch. So I'm kind of planning some type of a official launch for that. But basically, this is a creative project where I am studying hospitality design and culture from the Black queer film lens. It has been giving me life not only as an artist and a space keeper and space maker, but also as somebody who is currently working in restaurant hospitality. So basically, I look at hospitality from an intersectional lens, and I specifically highlight, honor, and uplift the Black femme sensibilities within hospitality and gathering. So it's really like something that I'm just kind of discovering or that I'm sharing. So I guess I've been working on it behind the scenes for the last like 2.5 years. But this year I finally started to kind of put out content around this thought that I'm having. I think being a Black queer woman that's working in hospitality and seeing the ways that we are made to be invisible, that we are not appreciated, and nothing different from honestly any other industry, which is really sad, but just the way that the white male ego can just take over in a space, made me appreciate even more the spaces that like my grandmother curates. Both my grandmothers, my mother, my grandfathers, like just the ways that Blackness shows up in caretaking through hospitality and really gave me confidence around my unique perspective through my culture around hospitality. It's not just about aesthetic. It is about the feeling. It is about the intention. It's about the memory making. It's about the cultural passing, the storytelling, all of that. So it's like, yeah, partially a visual project where I'm sharing kind of different images over history that just kind of give me that feel and give me that sense. But I'm also sharing kind of some of my thoughts as I like research and read around the topic that I'm studying. So you can check that out. You can follow me on that page on Instagram. It is with period DBP Diller Brewster Project. Um and yeah, that's mainly where I'm sharing it. And on TikTok, you can follow me there as well. Um, yeah, I would say that's present. I do have some just like ideas that are brewing for upcoming this year. Um, None quite ready to share quite yet, but I would say right now, if you want to just stay tuned to my artwork, if you want to stay tuned to the hospitality scholarship and design that I've been tapping into, um, and then obviously like if you know shows opening, if you want to commission, um, need design work, anything like that, let me know. Like I said, I'm getting back on the horse some, so I'm scaling up work more. um, One thing I forgot to mention is I actually am, speaking of jazz, I'm designing my second album cover, which will be a jazz album, and it's actually a vinyl. So I'm designing the vinyl sleeve for a jazz musician. So some of those projects you'll start to see the work that I'll share about the design work that I've been working on. But yeah, hit me up for all the things design, curation, experience based. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what you can expect and what I'm working on right now.
Brilliant. Um,
Thank you.
yes, and I love that you've been using the horse analogy as a Sagittarius. We
Yes.
heard this fire horse.
It's the year of the horse.
Yes, so it's your.
Yes.
I look forward
Nay, bitches, nay.
to move out the way.
Move out the way. Giddy up. Giddy up.
Yes, honey. I look forward to seeing you saddle up and blaze the trail once again.
Yes. Oh,
Indeed. So tell us one more time where we can see this piece, how long it's going to be there.
yeah. So you may view Delightfully Aligned at the Kennedy Heights Art Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. It opened January 30th and it will be open through mid-April. If you go to their website, I also have it linked on my website. You will see the full information about the show. So definitely check that out. That was also curated by a friend and peer, Zuri Ali, who's also an artist, and curated that show. So another Starburst Tiger. So yeah, that's where you can find the show. This, like I said, these pictures over here are from the show. Oh, there goes Zuri right there. Um, yeah, so you'll be able to see it in person. I will say it is quite striking in the flesh. And it is available for sale. So if you purchase it during this time through Kennedy Art Center, you're gonna get it for a really nice price because I accidentally put the wrong price on this piece. So I'm just saying that. whether you want to buy it for yourself or tell somebody. But yes, but it is available for sale. Thinking about doing like some type of a print situation at some point. So, yeah, it will continue to live. This is not the end or the last time that you will see divinely aligned. And this will not be the last kind of like soft sculpture fiber piece that you see. I'm definitely excited to express some more ideas.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. Do you have any last words that you want to share with the people here now and for the future when you post this?
Ooh, that's a good question for the future when you post this. Mm, I would just say I'm thankful to be here.
Mm,
Yeah. I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful for this moment. I'm thankful to be in this moment. I'm thankful for every single thing around me that is feeding me and is my environment in this moment. Um every single one of you. Um yeah, I'm sitting with the Toby that is of right now, and I'm
mm,
just like, we did some hard things, child. We did some hard things, and we are breathing deeper and fuller
yeah.
because of it. And I am very, very thankful for that. And so I usually have a lot to say about stuff like this, but I'm so like still saddling up that I can't even fully, I don't even fully have the words necessarily for how I feel,
Mm,
but I feel good. I feel blessed. I feel very thankful. I feel very excited. Um, still navigating all the life things.
yeah.
But I will say this, you guys being here and us just having this moment has definitely been a bright spot in my day. It will continue to be a bright spot in my week. It's been a bright spot this month, like just looking forward to it. And so yeah, just continue to support your artist friends and support yourself. That includes yourself. That
Mm,
includes yourself. Um, yeah, I mean, I could just go on and on about just saying thank you. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, and I'm happy to be here. And yeah, I'm just thankful for every person that has poured into me, helped raise me, helped encourage me to keep chugging along, and to keep sharing and to keep showing up. So it does not go unseen, it does not go unfelt, and it does not go unused. I do use that. Um, and yeah, so I'm more so excited to like look back on this in the next year and just be like, just be in Paris somewhere like, oh my gosh, looking back, you know what I'm saying? Like just I'm just looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to looking back on this moment.
mm,
I'm just in the moment now, but I look forward to looking back on this moment and seeing myself at another form and just yeah, just seeing this projection um seeing what it grows and materializes into. So, and a lot of times I'd be scared to say that because trauma, has you always like waiting for the shoe to drop and the rug to be pulled up under you. And so I get nervous sometimes about looking forward to things in that way. But looking forward is really a natural thing for me. Um, it was just kind of a survival tactic to not look too forward because or to look too forward, to look too far ahead because like just the fear of like I gotta have everything in line. So I'm just, I am prayerful and trusting that all things are working for me as they always have and will continue to. So yeah.
Ashe, I love to hear that you are grateful and present, looking forward, and it's all of the underlining medicine of this piece that you shared with us. So I am taking that as well
Yeah.
to the future
Yes.
now and looking forward to the future. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, yeah, for moderating this and for your time and for your perspective. It was just really great too. When we were just chatting, I was like, yeah, this is perfect. This is the conversation. So it's been really cool for the conversations that I mean, for the artist talks that I've like self-produced and put on. Like each person that I've gotten a chance to talk with has had their own specific viewpoint. And I think I've only done like three. I think I've done three and all have been Black women.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, with different perspectives and coming from different worlds. And so it's just really nice to be in the company of, yeah, and I'm just excited to see where all of us, when I was talking about where we are in the future, I'm talking about all of us. Like I look forward to just us connecting in the future and being like, da 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 da. Like
Yeah.
I am wishing favor over all of our lives. So, um, yeah, this is the space that we've created. This is the portal that we are in together. So all of this is just as available to you, and we are sharing it. So thank y'all, and thank y'all for staying over. I definitely did not mean for it to go this long, but you know, it did. So thank you.
Well, so you are going to post this somewhere where it can live after this month.
Yeah, so the plan is I will share this on my YouTube. I will share this on my YouTube or publish this on my YouTube.
Okay.
I don't know what date now, child, but it
Okay.
will be it will be posted somewhere. And I'm not rushing because it was about who was here in the moment.
That's right.
So we've gotten to experience it, and I will share it later for those who would like to experience it at a later date. What you can expect more soon, though, is just as a thank you for your time and attention tonight, I am going to send this presentation of the photos. All of these are like unreleased photos that I haven't shared. So I will share this for you. I'll also just kind of throw in some text about certain things. Um, and you have that just for your own access if you care to just have it. I know for me as an artist, it's nice to look at art and to be able to go back to something and reference. That's a huge part of my practice is just listening to a lot of artists and listening to a lot of artist talks like this and just hearing how people work and what they think about and what are the resources. If you have any questions about like getting down to the nitty gritty about like, okay, how did you actually make this? Like let me know. Happy to answer those questions because I know a lot of times we can get into the feelings and the meaning, and it's like, okay, so where do you buy the needle? Like
Yes.
where I need to know where the supplies are at. Like so yeah, and then ideally I would love maybe sometime this year to do like a needle punching workshop. So I think
Yes.
that would be, yeah, I think that would be very cute. So maybe incorporating something like this where it's a little bit of the needle punching and beading. But again, I don't have a date for that, but I'm kind of thinking about some workshops that I want to do for this year. So I'm just kind of uh, you know, thinking about brainstorming some different ideas and versions and variations. So, of course, you guys will know that I will say sign up. Sorry, I know I keep adding. Sign up to my newsletter because I also share on there about stuff that I'm doing. So, obviously, like I said, I share on Instagram, but I have a newsletter that I've had for a very long time, almost like 7 years now. So, if you go to my website, tobiewing.com, you can add your name to my newsletter and you will get this information directly to your email. So, um, yeah, I would say that's kind of everything. Definitely stay connected on my website, stay connected via newsletter. Obviously, you can follow me on social there. I like the newsletter because I ebb and weave and ebb and out of social. So sometimes, like when I'm having seasons of feeling open to sharing and having things to share, I do. Um, yeah, I say I move with inspired action. So when I'm feeling inspired and it feels smooth, I'll be on there all the time. But then when it's not, I might be ghost. So um, just so you don't miss nothing. But yeah, I'll be sending this to y'all as a thank you gift. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I really am in awe of your brilliance. I always knew you were, that
Oh.
you in your process. I have another level of respect and admiration for you. So
Well,
I
likewise.
No, again, for all that you have shared and provided for us, and the blessing that you prayed over us for this, as we're moving forward in this year. So, if there's no other questions or anything that you would like to share, we can close out this space.
Yes, I was checking the chats really quick. We got a lot of thank yous. Thank you everybody for the love and the thank yous. Um, Thank you. My mom offered a song. Um, Truly an inspiration. Thank you for sharing your brilliance and beauty with us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dane. Such a beautiful artist talk. The song was My Portion by Jakayla Carr. Glad to be here. Um, yes, and a lot of thanks. So thank y'all. I appreciate it. This will conclude the artist talk. Like I said, this is really just about this moment that we are sharing together. Um, and whatever is to come from this will come. Um, but this was it. I just wanted to come and talk about my art, and I appreciate y'all for wanting to listen. So thank you. This piece meant way too much to me and for me to just make it, put it up on a white wall somewhere and move on. And I want to do better, and I'm holding myself to do better with on this journey of all the big things that I have for myself, recognizing and honoring all the steps that it takes to get there. And no step is too big or too small. And yeah, I just wanted to honor um, this step by naming it and speaking to it and sharing what it took to get here. Um, so yeah, so thank you. Thank y'all again. Love you, Dane. Thank you, C. I'm excited too, girl. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Like, I might be working at McDonald's next week. I don't know. It's like we're
Stop.
not even gonna speak that,
You're a mess.
but no. We definitely not about to speak that, child.
No.
No.
At all.
You will see the
Get her,
green
Dana.
only
Get
link.
her. Get her. Tell her to stop it.
Dane, I'm about to apply for your are you hiring yet?
Right.
Stop.
Right. Right. Let
Where
me
is the
get to a
Indeed
table. Let
job
me get to a table.
posting?
Yes.
Have a good night yesterday. No, but I'm weak. But let me get off y'all's phone. Let me get off y'all's phone so y'all can get on with the rest of your night. But I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for being here. And I see you at the top, baby.
Period.
Period.
Jocelyn Hernandez boys. See you at the top, baby.
Period.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, man.
Oh, Malaya, do you want to stay on for a second?
Yes. Let me charge my phone.
It's all good.
Yes.
Yes, what you
I accidentally exited out because I was closing my apps. I was scared my phone was gonna die.
I got you. I got you. It's all good. I saw you pop out and I was like, well, hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
No, I when I get nervous about that, I just like frantically close everything. I'm just
Every
swiping everything up.
it's all got to go.
Right.
It's like cleaning the
So,
house.
um, thank you for grounding us in the beginning. I'm so sorry for rushing us right into
Oh no, it's all
the
good.
conversation. I appreciate you for bringing it back.
Yeah, no, it worked out just fine. I didn't because I was like, we never really discussed who's going to open, so I had a little
Right, right,
idea of
right.
how to kick it off, if not. But I appreciate you taking charge in that moment actually. And yeah, so it was all good. I just was like, before I forget, I did for sure want to say that. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, how are you feeling? I just wanted to just say thank you again and just like talk with you one on
Yes,
one and say how you feeling. Just check in real quick before we head on for the night.
I feel great. I am truly inspired by you in this
Oh,
moment.
like same.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I have so much to just sit with from what you said. So much of what you shared, like I said, resonates with where I'm at. Is actual
Yeah.
medicine that I feel like is going to, you know, uh, stay with me, while
Ooh.
in this off the horse Surrender.
Something that sticks on the bones.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it
Yes.
was for me. So I feel amazing and so grateful that you, asked me to co-facilitate this conversation with you. Very grateful.
Yes, I am too. I thank you for showing yourself. Even you didn't know you were showing yourself, but you did. So
Yes.
thank you for showing yourself as the leader of this combo. So yeah, I appreciate it. I just wanted to say thank you
Of course.
and wish you well before you move on with the night. So I will send this out
Okay.
and like I said, I'll send the recording to you soon, but I just didn't
Okay.
know how like getting it up online and
Yeah, for
all
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think I probably will send some type of like thank you for attending email. So if there's anything in there that you want me to uh add on
Hmm.
behalf of you, anything with your work or just any references or anything like that. If not, no
Okay.
pressure. But if there was something, just let me know and I'll
I
add
got
that to
you.
the email.
I will send
But
that.
awesome. Well, thank you, my love. And
Of
I'll
course.
send your gift over this
Okay.
week. Look for it like early next week just because I'm trying to get through this stuff with over the weekend.
Take your time.
Um, or if that's okay, first of all, let me
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. Take
Okay,
your
okay.
time. There's no rush on anything.
Because I wanna offer you a print as well.
Oh my gosh,
So
yes.
yeah, I'm trying to figure the mechanics for that out, and so I just need a second to like get things together.
I
So
got you.
if I can get like yeah, if I can get that, I'm gonna get that, not if I'm gonna get that printed
Okay.
for you, and then I wanna yeah give you your gifts together. So that's all. Yeah,
I appreciate you. And again,
my
take your time,
pleasure.
no rush. So you
I
have a
appreciate it.
great night. I hope that
Thank
you are
you.
riding the wave of your brilliance, your genius into
Woo!
the night, into this week, honey, literally for the rest of this year. Like I'm saying,
Period.
blaze the trail on this fire horse. It's your year.
I'm trying. Not I'm trying. I am, and I will.
You
And
are.
I'm. Yeah, I am, and I
Yes.
will.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah. All right. And we have to like link up in person at some point.
Yes, yes, yes. Because you are in Columbus, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I feel like we had this conversation. What side of town did you say you lived on again?
I'm on the south end.
Oh, South End. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
I'm like north, but either way, we can. I need to. It's just been this goddamn work schedule, child.
I know. I know it.
But
It's
we
it's
can
no
like.
rush on that either.
I
Trust
know,
me.
but
Yeah.
I wanna I need to be connected to my people. So
I feel you.
less of a rush and more of a passionate intention because I do want
Yes.
to meet up. So I'll send you my schedule, but generally I'm off like Sundays through Tuesday.
Okay.
And then I can always meet up like before work. I don't have work
Hmm.
till 3, so we can always
Okay.
do like a little like breakfast brunch situation.
That's perfect.
Um but we can also just like hang out, go on a walk, like meet up
Yeah,
somewhere, meet up at the East End, walk around. I don't care, like
exactly.
whatever. Yeah, regular stuff.
Sounds good. Well, yeah,
Okay.
my work schedule is 2 to 10, so I'm on a similar
Oh,
schedule.
okay. We're
Hmm.
kind of on a similar schedule. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Are
Yeah.
you like a Monday through Friday schedule or
Mhm.
a
Yep.
yeah, Monday through Friday. Okay. So probably one of the Sundays we can
Yes.
meet up because I'm off every other Sunday. And
Okay.
like I said, I'm trying to shift my schedule to I haven't like decided, I haven't put it in action yet, but yeah. But either way, probably a Sunday would
Okay.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right,
Okay.
Brewski.
I'll talk to you later,
All
girly.
right, peace.
Have a good night. Peace.